1,000 Syrians have fled the intensifying violence into neighboring countries. Many have been tortured. Their identities and the location of their safe houses must remain a secret, owing to the long reach of Syria's Mukhabarat. In Lebanon, all those who fled still feel far too close to home for comfort. It's 2 a.m. and I've been brought to meet a tractor driver from the Syrian frontier town of Tel Kalach. He'd been shot in the foot, randomly he claimed, by pro-regime militia as tanks laid siege to Tel Kalach at dawn. He was blindfolded, he says, and driven to nearby Homs with other detainees, being punched and thrashed all the way.
حمص نزلونا كمان كلبجونا وصفونا شي 50 واحد وكمان قتلوا ضرب موت أحمر.
This is what they call the welcome party.
زلمة عمره 85 سنة محمد حمص من باب عمر خدامنا صاروا يقبعوا له اسنانه بالبانسة. شوف هيني بيغلك بالبانسة صار يشيلوا الأظافر.
Over the next 42 days, the tractor driver passed through 5 different Mukhabarat detention facilities, each offering sadistic variations on a theme.
صارت الريح صار فرش يد هاي خشبة قد هاي هيك سمكة من هون لعند جري إلى مفصلات تبع باب إلى كلبجة هون وكلبجة هون وكلبجة من جريك ومن ذيك وبيغلبوك هيك ما بتتحرك ولا بيطلع صوتك ولا شيء بتطبق عليك هيك.
He claims he saw at least 200 children in detention, boys and girls.
عم يفتعلوا بالبنت عمرها 12 سنة عم يشلحوها للبنت بتمام مجابيدا كانت عمرها 12 15.
The tractor driver's leg became infected. The flesh is now rotting below the knee, but he's too afraid to go to hospital.
من الشوف اللي عم شوفه ماشي بس عم في عذاب أكثر مني عم يتعذبوا كثير عم يتعذبوا بالبانسة بالمقصة وقصوا نفسها بيوم يا عمي.
Syria's torture machine has been tried and tested, improved and upgraded over 4 decades. Now it's gone into overdrive. In Syria, torture has long been an instrument of the state. We are investigating video evidence and witness testimony that since the revolt began last March, torture's been employed by Syria's security and intelligence apparatus on an unprecedented scale. In October, a British filmmaker working undercover in Damascus for Channel 4 News was arrested by the Mukhabarat while meeting an activist in a cafe. Sean McAllister and his contact found themselves in the custody of the feared Air Force Intelligence Directorate.
When I was taken through the stages, it was clear that it's almost systematic. People were coming and going from the adjacent rooms that were being beaten. They were being held for 20 minutes, beaten, and then moved on. And then new people would arrive.
What he witnessed was consistent with the testimony of hundreds of survivors, as documented by the UN and human rights groups.
I discovered the most awful instrument that they were using on people's backs, and it was made up of one big thick cable, inside of which were 4 regular electricity cables. Then at the end they'd peeled back the outer casing so that the 4 electrical cables inside were exposed, and then even within the 4 electrical cables the plastic on those were peeled back so that the wiry electrical cable was free at the end.
He was held for 5 days, and although never tortured himself, he remains deeply shocked by what he'd heard and witnessed.
The most horrendous beatings that were on one person, it sounded like, and I thought they were going to kill him. It was just bloody awful.
The notorious Air Force branch of the Mukhabarat also raided this man's home and arrested him for taking part in protests. Blindfolded and handcuffed, he was beaten and electrocuted. He was often immobilized inside a car tire, then beaten while suspended from the ceiling. This is a technique we heard about over and over again.
إيدينا لورا، يجيبوا دولاب بحطوه هون، بحطوا عصا هون، بيجوا اثنين بيحملونا من العصا، بكون في جنازير نازلة من فوق من السقف، بيحطوا العصا بالجنازير، بصير ركبنا فوق، بعدين بيجوا اثنين ثلاثة بكون معهم عصي ومعهم كرباج ومعهم شو بصيروا يضربونا. بنصرخ من الوجع، وجع ما بينحمي، تحت الأرض ما حدا بيسمعنا.
He too was shifted around between detention centres. Each time his interrogation and torture would start afresh. Other techniques are sadistically inventive.
هذا هو الصندوق التابوت الخشبي، في بقلبه صفيحتين حديد، شريط كهرباء، وهذا طالع منه شريط كهرباء. هون بنحط على الكهرباء، بيلقحوا الواحد بقلبه وبيحطوه بالكهرباء، بصير بكهرب الواحد هون بقلب الصندوق. الحمد لله الله نجانا.